The Empire's Stormtroopers are some of the most recognizable soldiers in the galaxy, but not all of them are the same. Behind the iconic white armor lies a range of specialized units, each trained for different environments and combat situations. From the frozen plains of Hoth to the swampy landscapes of Mimon, these troopers adapt to any challenge the Empire throws at them. Let's dive into the different types of Stormtroopers and what makes each one unique. The Stormtroopers, the backbone of the Galactic Empire's military might. They were the successors of the Republic's clone troopers. These soldiers symbolized the shift from the Clone Wars to Imperial rule. Unlike their cloned predecessors, Stormtroopers were mainly recruited from ordinary citizens of the Empire. Their training focused on loyalty, discipline, and obedience. Clad in their distinctive white armor, they were armed with E-11 blaster rifles as their primary weapon, along with thermal detonators and utility belts stocked with survival tools. Though their armor provided limited protection and mobility was often criticized, its primary purpose was to project an imposing image of Imperial power across the galaxy. Much like Star Destroyers and TIE Fighters, Stormtroopers became relentless symbols of Emperor Palpatine's iron-fisted rule. Despite the popular notion of their poor aim, Stormtroopers were a versatile force, capable of adapting to various combat situations. There's a common misconception that they were the Empire's standard infantry, but in reality, the Imperial Army troops were the primary infantry. In truth, Stormtroopers were actually elite soldiers, until they faced off against Ewoks, of course. The TK Stormtroopers, also known as TK Troopers, were the first non-clone generation of Stormtroopers, recruited from across the galaxy to reduce reliance on clones. Their training was overseen by elite clone commandos at a secret Imperial facility on the planet Darrow, which was established after the success of non-clone soldiers during the Battle of Andon, a battle that involved the burning of civilians alive. For the Empire, success was all about cruelty. The more ruthless, the better. This hidden program, shielded from the Imperial Senate, produced the first batch of recruits, marking the dawn of the Empire's reliance on naturally born conscripts. These soldiers, dressed in prototype armor resembling a canceled Phase 3 clone trooper design, carried DC-15A blaster carbines. Over time, the TK Stormtroopers were indoctrinated into the Empire's brutal doctrine, and their numbers swelled across the galaxy. Their loyalty to the Emperor was unwavering even as they became infamous for their merciless actions. The transition from clone soldiers to conscripted recruits was a crucial turning point, forever altering the nature of the Imperial military. Scout troopers were specialized reconnaissance units within the Stormtrooper ranks. These troopers excelled in scouting, sneaking behind enemy lines, and relaying intel to commanders. Recognizable by their lightweight armor and distinctive helmets with enhanced optics, scout troopers were frequently seen riding the 74Z speeder bikes. Their mobility and precision made them ideal for reconnaissance and fast attacks during ground engagement. Their training also included survival tactics and independent operations, allowing them to thrive in stealthy and adaptive missions. They were armed with EC-117 holdout blaster pistols, which were holstered in their boots, and DT-19X sniper rifles for support from high ground. There were also two subtypes of scout troopers, forest troopers and cave troopers. Forest troopers were outfitted with modified armor featuring camouflage patterns and muted green tones designed to blend seamlessly into forest environments. Their gear included environmental protections like enhanced filtration systems to guard against forest hazards such as spores or toxins. Cave troopers, on the other hand, were trained for operations in underground environments like caves and mines. Their reinforced armor was built to endure high-pressure, low-light conditions, and they were equipped with advanced multi-spectrum visors to see through pitch-black tunnels and identify hidden threats. Heavy weapons Stormtroopers, also known as heavy troopers, were specialized infantry within the Imperial military, armed with devastating weapons designed to wreak havoc on enemy forces and fortifications. Recognizable by their reinforced armor and heavy-duty backpacks that supplied power or extra ammunition, these troopers wielded powerful weapons like the DT-9 heavy blaster rifle, the T-21 light repeating blaster, and the formidable Z-6 rotary blaster cannon. They were were often deployed during high-risk operations, where overwhelming firepower was essential to crush resistance. Their presence on the battlefield signaled the Empire's intent to dominate through brute strength and unrelenting fire, often turning the tide of skirmishes. Jump troopers or rocket troopers were highly specialized stormtroopers trained for aerial combat with jetpacks. Capable of executing swift strikes and engaging enemies from above, they were a versatile threat on the battlefield. Their armor came in various designs, either a modified version of the standard Stormtrooper suit with a jump pack, or a more specialized version featuring a helmet with breathing tubes for high-altitude missions. Their armor was designed to be sleeker to reduce drag during flight. Armed with E-11 blasters or RPS-6 rocket launchers, they could take down enemy ground vehicles or fortifications with ease. In Battlefront 2017, if someone mastered them, they could easily flank and take out entire squads while flying away, making them super effective, though also incredibly annoying to play against. Patrol troopers were swift and agile units, tasked with maintaining order and responding to threats in urban and industrial environments. Their lightweight, streamlined armor was designed for speed and maneuverability, and they were often seen on CPH speeder bikes, covering vast areas quickly. Their role primarily involved crowd control, curfew enforcement, and swiftly pursuing criminals or rebels in city environments. Armed with EC-7 blaster pistols, they were a visible reminder of the Empire's dominance in more developed regions. These troopers made a notable appearance in Solo, a Star Wars story, where they chased after Han and Kira on their speeder bikes. Their presence symbolized how deeply the Empire had embedded itself into everyday life, enforcing its will, not just on battlefields, but on the very streets of Imperial-controlled cities. Shock troopers were elite units within the Imperial Stormtrooper Corps, distinguished by their red-striped armor. Primarily assigned to high-security locations, they also served as riot control forces or personal guards for important Imperial officials. Shock troopers were heavily armed, often carrying heavy blasters, riot shields, and sometimes electro-staffs for close-quarters combat. Much like their clone counterparts, they were mostly deployed on Coruscant as the security police force. The most notable appearance of the Imperial Shock Troopers was in the 2015 Battlefront game, where you could play as one of Palpatine's bodyguards, armed with a T-21 before being replaced by the Royal Guards. Their intimidating presence and firepower made them a force to be reckoned with, often seen patrolling government buildings, quelling uprisings, or escorting high-ranking figures through hostile territory without hesitation. Sandtroopers were the Empire's elite desert specialists, adapted to survive and operate in harsh environments like Tatooine. Their standard Stormtrooper armor was modified with cooling systems, moisture seals, and additional equipment such as shoulder pauldrons to indicate rank. Sandtroopers typically carried E-11 blaster rifles, but they also had T-21s or T-2s for added versatility in the vast deserts. These troopers are infamous for their involvement in one of the most iconic lines in Star Wars history. These aren't the droids you're looking for. What made them stand out was their weathered armor, covered in desert dust, which also symbolized their resilience against the harsh climate. Their standard gear included survival packs with rations, water, and navigation tools to endure the unforgiving landscape. Often seen riding local dewbacks across the sand, they engaged enemy fortifications and rebel tanks, a far cry from how practical this would be in real life though. Snowtroopers, also known as cold weather assault stormtroopers, or SNOWs as they humorously refer to themselves, were specially trained and equipped to operate in extreme sub-zero environments like the icy wastelands of Hoth. Descended from the Republic's cold weather assault troopers, they wore insulated white armor with thermal bodysuits and extended face coverings. At the center of their breastplate was the heart of their self-sufficient life support system controls. Their backpacks were a crucial part of their gear, housing the primary heating unit, power cell, communication system, and a homing beacon. These packs also acted as power sources for extra equipment. With internal provisions and power, Snowtroopers could endure even the harshest conditions for up to 2 weeks. Armed with E-11 blaster rifles, they were a versatile force capable of engaging enemies in the frozen landscape. Their most famous deployment was at the Battle of Hoth, where they overtook Echo Base. Wet weather gear stormtroopers, also known as Mimon stormtroopers, were a specialized variant deployed on the swampy, rain-soaked planet Mimon. Their armor was adapted to the swamp's harsh environment with added flexibility for improved mobility. Equipped with E-11 blaster rifles, they wore bandoliers and waterproof capes, essential for navigating the swampy terrain. And let's be honest, capes just make everything better. Batman, Darth Vader, Director Krennic, Lando, the list goes on. So Stormtroopers Stormtroopers with capes? Yes, please, every time. These troopers not only brought firepower but style, patrolling the murky wetlands with a dramatic flair that made them look twice as intimidating and twice as cool. Artillery troopers, or mortar troopers, were a specialized branch of the Imperial military, easily identified by their yellow-striped armor and unique. These troopers operated portable mortar launchers capable of striking targets from a safe distance. Equipped with targeting computers and communication systems, they coordinated with frontline troops to adjust fire in real time. Their role was vital in prolonged battles where precision bombardments could shift the balance of power. They made their first appearance in The Mandalorian, where one was seen launching mortar shells at Fennec Shan before being taken out by Boba Fett. Their support was essential in suppressing entrenched enemies, softening defenses before a full-scale assault, and maintaining pressure during sieges, making them a key component of the Empire's tactical dominance. Rang troopers were elite soldiers in the Imperial military, known for their resilience. They wore advanced vambrace armor and helmets that combined design elements from Imperial combat assault tank pilots and shore troopers. Their heavy armor featured fur-lined exteriors and chest plates, similar to those worn by cold-weather assault stormtroopers. Armed with E-10R blaster rifles, Rang troopers also wore magnetic grip boots, giving them a secure hold on high-speed vehicles like moving trains, just like we saw in Solo: A Star Wars Story. They were trained for extreme weather conditions, brutal wind resistance, and the disorienting velocity of high-altitude transport missions, making them one of the most physically demanding roles in the Imperial rank. Tough and feared by other Imperial forces, they often saw their peers as soft, considering their deployment on top of trains moving at speeds of 500 km/h. It's basically like NASA training for space. Shore troopers, or coastal defense troopers, were Imperial soldiers trained to patrol tropical and coastal regions. Their tan and blue armor was designed for camouflage in sandy beaches and shallow waters, blending seamlessly into environments like Scarif. The armor was lightweight, similar to scout troopers, allowing for greater mobility without sacrificing protection. They were armed with either E-22 double-barrel blaster rifles or standard E-11 blasters. Shore troopers had 3 ranks, each with distinct armor markings. Regular troopers sported sand-colored armor with a red band on the right arm and a white stripe on the left shoulder guard. Squad leaders wore a sand blue stripe on their breastplate and shoulders, along with a comma belt. Captains were equipped with blue breastplates, sand blue left shoulder guards with additional stripes, and limited leg armor for increased mobility, much like scout troopers. A lesser-known shore trooper is Del Mayo, who appeared in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 campaign as part of Inferno Squad. Before becoming an elite soldier, he was simply having the time of his life in the galaxy's version of the Maldives. Each specialized stormtrooper serves a purpose beyond just looking intimidating. Whether they're battling in harsh climates or handling specific missions, they're the backbone of the Empire's military might. Which type is your favorite? Let us know in the comments, and be on the lookout for part 2 of Every Stormtrooper Explained. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out more related content shown on screen.